Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Switch Online Game Club, the show where we play through the games available on Nintendo's various NSO apps completely at random. I'm your host, Derrick Bittner, and in this episode I'm joined once again by AntDude, the YouTuber who loves Kirby, yet just missed out on the episode where we covered Dreamland 2 and ended up with Tough Enough instead.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was right before
That's
you,
right,
or right after you, I forget which one, but you just missed it.
I know, and I couldn't get Fire and Ice. I was clamoring for that too, which is not allowed to have.
Yeah.
Not allowed to have nice things, I guess.
No, you got Tough Enough instead, so enjoy, I suppose.
Yeah.
But we're also joined by Lewis Illingworth, editor, not only for AntDude, but Akupara Games. Welcome, Luis. How you doing?
Well, thank you for having me. Doing pretty good. Pretty jazzed about what we're gonna enjoy.
Yeah, it's gonna be something else. And yeah, as you're both likely aware, there are now over 200 games across the NSO, and while some are widely known like Super Mario Bros. And Zelda, there are some odd picks that could be considered hidden gems. We honestly don't know. So what we'll be doing is entering all those games into a randomizer, picking one, and then giving our initial thoughts. And this week, the Wheel of Games has chosen Scat. Cybernetic Attack Team. God, I had to remember the acronym. So, we're 4 years old and, we get to play Scat.
Listen, that's what the word means. That's just what the word means.
I
don't
guess.
Google Scat.
No, don't Google Scat. Look up Special Cybernetic Attack Team. So I immediately brought up the Wikipedia. Well, actually, before anything else, has any of us actually played this game before? I've heard of it, but I've never touched it.
I've played it.
Nope, I've never played it.
How far did you play? Did you it was like one of those 10-minute things, or did you actually
I was just sampling it. So the one thing that gets me kind of jazzed for this is the game. It's a Natsume game. Natsume games, like retro Natsumes, usually always pretty good. They've done like a lot of solid stuff. A lot of names are escaping. Yeah, they did Pocket Rocky, which was great. Wild Guns, Ninja Warriors. I trust Natsume. This is one that's already kind of on my NES backlog. I feel like we're in for a good time.
You know what? I will take that. I am hopeful that we can have a good time here.
I can tell that this is an extremely 90s game because there's like two characters you can play, and they're named Arnold and Sigourney.
Gee, I wonder where they got those names from.
It's so on the nose.
That's amazing. That's
we have Broforce at home.
We have Broforce at home. Now this Broforce wishes it was this game.
Oh, the box art's terrible. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the box art is terrible. Just a muscle-bound guy in power armor, looking like not even looking where he's shooting. He's like growling at the camera as he's shooting off camera, and yeah. Meanwhile, his partner's getting wasted because basically there's all kinds of fire around her.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is as you said, from Natsume. Came out in 1990 in Japan. Didn't hit States until 91. Didn't hit Europe until 92. And it has a lot of different names. We got Scat. Japan got Final Mission. Europe got Action in New York. I don't know who won.
All right, sure.
I found the back of the box. I went to Moby Games, so I wanted to see like the back of the box. You wanna hear this? You wanna hear this?
Oh, hit me with it.
Oh yeah, do it.
Okay, it says Scat Special Cybernetic Attack Team. It's the year 2029. And humanity faces a certain extinction. An alien force led by the Supreme Commander Vile Malmort is positioned to destroy the Earth. The president had little time to act. He assembled the greatest scientists from around the globe to stop this menace. From the laboratory came mankind's last hope, the members of Scat. The Special Cybernetic Attack Team has one goal, the utter destruction of the alien fleet.
Okay, I was like, feet. Like, man, what'd they do?
They've sent an armada to conquer us. We've sent 2 warriors from Scat. It should be a fair fight. And it says, capture and adapt multiple weapon systems, one or two people co-op play.
Okay.
That's what we're dealing. The distant future of 2029.
So it seems like it's a bit Contra-like by the sounds of it. I did notice here on the Wikipedia as well that unlike Shadow of the Ninja, which is a game I have gotten before, also from Natsume, which is kind of fun, but also has limited continues and is really rough to get. It's like can get very difficult towards the end. You have to learn those patterns. You get unlimited continues on this game, so that's nice. So
you always have unlimited continues in NSO.
That is true, but I try to play legit until my sanity breaks, and then it's like, okay, we're just rewinding on this. I can't take this anymore. So
that's fair.
We'll see how it goes. There's a little thing here about version differences.
I was about to pull this one up.
Yeah, go for it. I'll let you take care of it.
It says in the European version, Action New York, almost everything's exactly the same, except they changed the names Arnold and Sigourney to Silverman and Sparks.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, and they changed SCAT to S.A.T, the Special Attack Team.
Yes.
No SCAT in Europe. That's a shame. That's censorship.
They're not cybernetic anymore. They've lost the cybernetics, but they've got cybernetic names, I guess, because
Silverman.
The game was produced and programmed by Satoshi Yoshikawa, who worked on, I think that's Klonoa for the Wii.
Oh,
I was almost excited.
Level designer on Klonoa for the Wii, and also a programmer on Spanky's Quest.
Yo, the 2D designer of Donkey Kong Barrel Blast?
Hell yeah!
Oh my god!
We got on music. We got Kiyohiro Sada, who worked on Resident Evil Code Veronica, and Spanky's Quest, and also was in the sound department for Harmonite.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay.
Spanky's Quest is on the NSO. Eventually, I will cover it. Eventually, I suppose.
Might get some banger tunes. We might get some like Pictionary NES levels maybe.
Well,
it would be good.
The Wikipedia reception says the music is universally praised alongside the high quality of the gameplay. So we might actually.
I'm genuinely looking forward to this.
Outside the really, really silly name, we might actually have something decent here. Okay. But the last game we played also had pretty decent reviews, so I'm not holding out my breath because, oh my gosh. Yeah. So hopefully Natsume brings the goods, is all I can say. Mm-hmm. That's all I can hope for, but...
I'm the guy in the back of the party now going, they don't know this game's going to be a banger.
All right. Something about you in near futures that are basically post-apocalyptic, Ant. Something about the games you keep getting. I don't know what it is.
Oh my god, that's what Tough Enough was too.
Yeah. I forget what year it was. Like, what far future of 4 years from now, or 5 years from now is what's going to be.
God, I don't remember how to spell that stupid name. Tough. Oh, what is a stupid name? Tough. TUFFENUFF.
Yes.
Stupid. It was 2151.
Okay, so they had a bit more foresight to put it really far into the future.
Yeah, I'll be dead by then. That's fine.
I won't know there's any differences. I'll just assume that yes, that's exactly how the world will be in 2151.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, based on Ant's recommendation, I'm gonna allow myself to be excited. Hopefully, this is a good one, and we can enjoy this game beyond its really silly name. Otherwise, it sets itself up for some bad reviewer puns.
Yeah.
What about you, Luis? You excited or you're dreading this one?
I'm very excited.
Okay.
No, I'm very excited. I'm excited since my one. I guess the only thing I was dreading was that it was an NES game, so I was like, oh boy! But I forgot I was playing on NSO with save states and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll be good.
Yeah,
and I think I'll be good.
And since you're new here, you are not limited. If you want to use rewind and all that, go for it. It's the service, and the service sometimes really helps. So, yeah,
makes them play. One would say it makes them playable.
In some cases, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But well, I guess that's it for our preconceptions. We'll be back in a week for us and not too long for you to talk about SCAT, Special Cybernetic Attack Team.
Scat on, everybody.
Scat Nation. Let's go.
And we're back after a week of playing Scat, Special Cybernetic Attack Team for the NES. None of us have ever played it before, so what do we end up thinking? Let's start with you, Lewis. What'd you think of Scat?
You know what? Didn't hate it. Actually, I had kind of a fun. I was just going from basically when we were talking, I looked at the game on Moby Games, and I kind of looked at the front of the cover, the front of the box, and the back of the box. So I thought this was like a Contra kind of deal. Imagine my surprise when I boot up the game and it turns out it's actually like a Gradius, like a shoot 'em up.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'm like, I think I'm kind of vibing with this more at the moment. Immediately you get blasted with like pretty cool music actually. So like I think we were right on the money with that, seeing all that. But then after playing it, I was just I was thinking, was like, yep, there's an NES shoot 'em up. It was pretty interesting because like the whole thing is like you're like your character's like on a jetpack. You're not a ship. You're just a dude on a jetpack, and then you're flying around, and then you got these like orbs flying around you. And like the thing I didn't understand is I thought they were just kind of like going like they kind of like orbit around you. But then I didn't know until later that you could like press a button and kind of lock them in place to kind of have more ways to shoot enemies. I thought that was pretty cool. And then there's like your standard like power ups and whatnot for that. So didn't hate it for the hour that it took to beat the game with that. That's with rewinds. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be in this game and I would have gotten very mad at it. But other than that, you know what? Had a good time with it. Good hour. Good romp.
Yeah. What about you, Ant?
Yeah, so I came into this with a different perspective on just wanting to play more Natsume games, just because I've got an appreciation for them since they've started remaking some of their older stuff for Switch. So I had known about Scat because I look up NES and I see a game titled Scat. Your boy's jumping in immediately. I gotta know what Scat's all about. But yeah, I think same as Luis, I enjoyed it. It was fine. A very unique take on a typical shooter. I liked the orb mechanic, but the difficulty is nonsense. Like, it is so unforgiving. This is one of those games that I think if we tried to play this back in the day on like an actual NES cart, it would have taken months and months to actually have the patience to beat it, because if you die, you go all the way back to the start of the stage with no power-ups, and some of the stages are long. Like,
the later stages get much longer.
It was like 45 minutes an hour to like beat the game with rewinds and stuff, because some of the it's only 5 stages. There were only I think 5 or 6 stages, and they got so long, and I was like, there's the elevator stage. That's like whatever, stage 4 or whatever. You get near the top and you die. No, you're going all the way back to the bottom and the few minutes beforehand. It's insane how brutal it is, unless you cheat like us.
Yeah, you kind of have to cheat if you want to beat this in the amount of time that we had. But the thing is, I went into this not knowing, like Luis, I had no idea that this was actually more like Gradius than Contra. I had no idea it was a shoot 'em up in that way where you're just flying around as this cyborg character. Like, oh, okay, sure. And it was very interesting just figuring out what the game was capable of. Like, I had the orbs rotating around me, and I was just pushing buttons to see, like, okay, B is shoot, and A, I don't know what A does. I didn't notice for the longest time that A locks into place. Yeah. It took me a while to figure that out, because I'm like, oh, it was rotating. I thought it was power-up related. So if I got the different power-ups, that's what affected them. But later I learned, like, oh no, it's for the locking in place aspect. And when I learned that, I was like, okay, this game has a cool concept, because that is really a really neat idea for how it is, and can really change how you approach certain bosses, where you can put yourself just in a sweet spot and just lay into them. And it feels really good in that way. And figuring out which of the guns were good, because I did not know what the S's did when I first played this. I only just learned on Wikipedia. So you have L for laser, W for wide beam, B for bomb launcher, S, that's a speed up. And then you get 1 R per level, which is a recovery. You get, I think, 3 health ticks back. And it's like, okay, relatively simple. Figure out what the best method is. I kept trying to see if like you could stack wide beams. So if you get like 2 wide beams, you get a bigger wide beam or something like that. And
yeah, sadly no.
No stacking in that way. But also learned that if you don't shoot those things that contain power-ups, they will hurt you if you run into them. They are not just infinite.
I didn't know that.
And they want you to get the power-ups too, because if you don't touch them, they just start to bum rush you, which is also strange.
Very annoying, because I hate the bomb launcher. The bomb launcher sucks.
I like it.
What was interesting is I felt like there was a decent amount of strategy in deciding which gun was best for the level that you're in, because what's cool is you're not just going left to right the whole time. Sometimes you're going up and down, you're going diagonal, there's different pillars in the way, and I thought that resulted in different levels having better usage for the laser. I remember being like pointless in one, but there's like on the flying ship level, I'm like, I need the laser because there's so many things.
The laser was like really useful on that one.
Yeah, and whenever there were pillars, I thought the bomb was the most useful there. So there was like more, like, I feel like normally in shooters, I just want the thing that looks the coolest. But in this one, there was like, I had to put genuine thought into which gun I wanted, plus where the orbs were going. And I thought that was neat. Because, man, that elevator thing, I was stuck on that stage for, I think, the most out of the entire game. Because that was just lasting forever.
Yeah.
It was also like really busy. It was like really hard to tell at times what was going on because there's just so much information on the screen going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just couldn't tell what was going on.
Yeah. God, the music was so good too. The music really felt intense.
Yeah, the presentation's pretty solid. You got some interesting backgrounds going on. It's keeping varied. Like the fact that it was so guided, and the fact that you're now you're going up, now you're going to the right, as you were saying, Ant. It really helped the presentation of everything, and I tried to beat, when I first started, like, okay, let's see how far I can get with just playing on my own skills and not using rewind at all. I kept getting to the same place in the first level and dying just right before the boss. I was getting hammered because I wasn't fully understanding what I was capable of. So, playing through the rest of the game, rewinding when I needed to, but I was also realizing, like, you know what? I'm not rewinding as much as I've had to in the past for certain NES games. Like, this is not making me do it. The punishing part is the fact that you get 1 life and you're back to the beginning of the level, but you do have infinite continues. So it's just a matter of grinding your way through it and figuring out all the placement. But once you do that, I think there is fun to be held, and I think this game is perfectly beatable without using rewind. You just got to really learn these patterns and the specific places for a lot of them. Because after I beat the game, I went back and tried out the Sigourney, or player 2 and female character, see if there's any difference. There's no difference.
There's no difference.
And I beat that.
I think there is simultaneous co-op, though.
Yes.
Wanted to, you can play both at the same time, which is cool. Not a whole lot of NES games. I feel like it's more so you pass the controller when you die, but it was cool that this game actually is capable of 2 gunners at the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure that makes it even more fun. But yeah, when I went back and after beating the game and played the first level again without using rewind, I beat it with only taking 1 hit. And I found out if you get a recovery, when you have that kind of health, that, you don't just fill up to 6, you actually go beyond 6. You can get up to like 8.
Oh yeah.
And so forth. So it's like, oh, neat. That's handy. So I strangely like this game.
I was looking up also, and I'm glad we played the version we did, because apparently the Japanese version is a lot more difficult.
Oh.
Going back to the Wikipedia, it says instead of 6 lives, a player begins with only 3.
Wow.
You lose your power up when you get hit.
Oh,
not just when you die, when you get hit.
Dang.
And it says the satellites function differently. They're aligned by the player while the character is moving left and right. Their firepower is also weaker. So it just seems like substantially more annoying on the Famicom version. So
I'm so used to the American version increasing the difficulty of these types of games because they want you to rent it over and over.
Right? Yeah.
Oof.
Interesting. Games before patches were wild.
Right?
But I mean, because it's a short adventure, there's not a whole lot to say about it. But you get to feel kind of like a badass because you're just a person That's crazy. You're just a person in a giant suit, and not just not a giant ship. So you get to feel pretty cool. The music is pretty badass. You just got to have some patience, but this is a pretty good NES action game.
Yeah, I'd say the final level is probably the most annoying. Like, yeah, the elevator level is long, but the final level gets up there too, and then you have those stupid electrical beams that you have to dodge.
Yeah,
and that's when I found myself getting hit off screen from a lot of enemies. Like, I'm just trying to nudge myself into that perfect spot. Yeah, the angled lasers. So I'm trying to get myself in the perfect spot, and then here comes an enemy just right off screen and just hits you. I'm like, oh, thanks. Perfect.
Yeah. The rewinds were in full effect on that stage.
Oh, absolutely.
Had to be.
That alien at the last boss was like this alien that was like also like it was like easier than all the other ones, at least for me. And that it just like the patterns of that one were like easier to kind of identify, because all the ones kind of had like way more erratic movements.
I'd say the ship was the hardest boss.
I would agree with that. One thing I learned though in all of my rewinding and whatnot for the battles is the damage you output is related to how many bullets you can pump out, and this is one of those games where if you're right up next to an enemy and you just mash the button, you get more bullets coming out per second than ever. So I spent like that ship battle all the way in the back with the ship battle with the 4 laser things you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I was in the back trying to shoot, and I was driving myself insane. But what I just did instead is I just said F this, and then I just went to the far side, nearly touched them, and then just mashed, and they went down faster than ever. So the strat is if you just have the cojones to really get up close and
how
personal.
confident are you to get in close?
That's how you can bust them up real quick. So learn some deep strats for Scat in this little playtime.
Some strategies.
Strategies. Oh God. I will say my preferred weapon was definitely the wide beam. If I had a choice,
I like that one a lot.
The wide beam.
The wide beam, and then just aligning the 2 other pods to be like kind of at an angle. Like it felt like it gave me like such a big cone to like be able to cover my front, and then also if I needed to, I could move the other pods so I cover my back. So I felt like I had like a pretty wide range of like being able to do damage that way.
For sure.
I ended up enjoying, I think, the bomb the most, because if you planned it correctly, if there were like multiple ships coming at you, there was a bit of a time where the explosion's still there and knocks the things out in front of you. But mostly later on, there are enemies that have a lot of extra health points, so the bomb was able to knock them out in one go, like the giant lasers and stuff. The bombs were able to take them out a lot faster than the wave beam did, but it's not like Contra where you just see the spread shot and you're like, this is the only gun I want for the entire game.
Pretty much.
I will say the laser sound annoyed me. Like, oh God, I have to use the laser and listen to that thing.
Yeah. But any shrill noises are never good.
No, never. Were you guys surprised like I was when you started up the game and all of a sudden you have fully voiced dialogue? Short.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I noticed that too.
God,
I forgot about that.
Forgot about that. It's like a Super Metroid jump scare, but back on NES. That's crazy.
It's like, whoa. I was trying to think.
Like
how many NES games have full-on voice clip? Yeah. It threw me off.
I don't know. I think there's a Jurassic Park game that does, maybe. But yeah, no, that was definitely like all the budget went into getting voice sampling on the NES. That was crazy. So anyone with the NSO app, at the very least, it's worth booting up just to hear voice acting on NES.
Yeah, and it's the only voice acting.
Smash TV, maybe I think also had some.
Oh, maybe,
maybe. Yeah. And the ending, like if you didn't have the instruction booklet, you'd have no idea what's going on. You're just like everything's being attacked, and like okay,
classic NES.
You win, and like the president wants to give you a medal. Good for him. I'm going to take a vacation. How dare you, soldiers? Bye.
Yep. give it the best champagne. Sending them a good old Angry Orchard.
And there were kids back in the day who were like, the president wanted to me.
To me?
Oh man, to me this is great.
Bad enough, dude.
I don't think Bad Dudes is on NSO, is it? I'm not sure. I'm not 100%
it is
sure on
not. No, sadly no.
Interesting.
That's a shame. That is a real shame. But yeah, I mean, we've pretty much covered everything. There's not a lot to really talk about further.
So there's a beauty to classic NES or Super Nintendo action games. It's just like it's either good or it's not. Like there's not really a ton of argument for that. That's why I like going back to these so often, because it's like a short bite-sized experience. They tried really hard to make you feel like a badass in the 45 minutes they had for the game, but it just comes down to, is it good or is it not? And I think Scat falls into the good category. It's definitely more difficult like than like a contemporary like Contra or whatnot, but NES already has a decent amount of shooters like Gradius and whatnot. This actually was one of them. It's just very easy to pass by it because it's called Scat.
You see Scat and you're like, I'm not sure I'm interested in that. It's not the best box art.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what is happening in here? I don't understand.
Well, actually, what is the Japanese box art look the same?
I'm actually just gonna look up the same thing to see.
Don't look up Scat on Google.
No, definitely don't Google Scat. I'm going to Moby. I'm not going anywhere
Moby.
near that. Yeah, going to Moby.
Let's see.
It does not want to come up.
Oh my God, the European art's Attack in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know if the European box is better.
I can't find it.
All right, I can post it in Green Room.
Yeah. It's all good.
There's the European.
Oh, just a man screaming at a robot.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then this really low quality Japanese one with what looks like an alien.
That's basically just the final boss. Cool. That does look pretty sick, to be honest.
None of these games actually, you know what? Scat, the American box art probably properly conveys what the actual game is more than
any other.
The European and Japanese one.
That is true.
Weirdly enough, yeah. Very odd.
The back of the box. Oh, so badass. All right, there's a quote on the back of the box that says, "They've sent an armada to conquer us. We've sent 2 warriors from Scat. It should be a fair fight." Oh, Joe, it's badass.
Yeah, there you go.
So cool. That's really good.
That's perfect.
Oh my God.
Goodness. Well, I don't think there's much else to say about Scat, so what's our final verdict? Would you recommend it as an NESO or tell people to stay away with an NONO? Ant, let's start with you.
It was cute and clever. I would definitely recommend this. I think if you want to see just a good bite-sized NES experience, a lot of the good NES games don't take a lot of commitment, and I think this is up there. Also, I would anticipate in a few years there's going to be a remake by the guys who do Pock and Rocky and Wild Guns and all that. They're doing Shadow of the Ninja now. I would not be surprised if Scat is in their pipeline.
It'll be very interesting to see if they decide to change the name or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be Final Mission, I guess.
Probably. What about you, Luis, sorry.
You're good. I think that if you're playing on NSO, I think it's like a fun way to just kill time. To just kill specifically 1 hour of time, because that's how long it takes you if you play it on this NSO with like save states and rewind and all that. And I think it's a good way, like Ann said, it's a good way to see the kind of shoot 'em ups that were being done, like basically the kind of games that Natsume was doing, specifically on the NES era. A lot of arcade games that are like this. A lot of NES games are also like this, that are designed to like be really hard to complete. And that was where you got your money's worth, instead of just being like we're doing right now. We played it for an hour and it's like, all right, we're done. But I think that is the best way to experience those games right now. So I'm glad that there is a way to do that easily now, that you can just do it on the Switch if you want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a fun hour, fun rump.
Yeah, and I'd agree. This is definitely an NESO for me. This is the type of like, oh hey, that's actually good. That's what I like this show about. It's like, oh cool, I discovered something actually fun. Not one of those like, oh this looks like crap. Oh actually no, it's crap. This is actually good. Who knew? But what about all of you? Have you played Scat before, or was this your first time? And before we go, where can everyone find you guys at? Luis, let's start with you.
You can find me on AntDude's channel, where I do all the
right,
editing. Let's go.
Damn right, brother.
You can find me at AntDude's channel, where I do all the editing. You can also find me on my own YouTube channel at Hey Raggio. I apologize if you look at there, you go, man, there's a cool golf video there. Why is that 2 years old? Sorry. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. You can find me there. You can also find my work at Aquapara Games channel, where I do a lot of the video editing. Go to Steam right now and download the Crypt Master demo. Available now during Steam Next Fest, even though was last week, but the demo's still up there. So go check it out. The dungeon crawler where you can say anything to slay everything.
Very cool.
Oh,
and
man.
I like we got the tagline in there. That's awesome.
Cool. I've been workshopping that one. I might include it later.
What about you, Ant? Where can everyone find you at?
Yeah, YouTube, Twitch, and X. I'll say X. And AntDude92.
Goodness.
Also been building up a lot on my second channel, AntDude Plays, for more casual type content. You go check those out. Live streams, me talking on my carpet like no other gamer on YouTube does. Go over there and we could just talk about video games for a while, and leave a positive comment if you too enjoy Scat.
We gotta get you like a different background. That maybe we can like find one of those like 90s Taco Bell tables, and just put your games on them to give it more. Yeah.
Nice.
I should just green screen this. Really, for all this hasn't.
It is what it is. But yeah, thank you both for joining me. And if all of you joining us enjoyed this episode, let us know in the comments, and please consider supporting us at patreon.com/gvgaming, which includes our live audience tier that will allow you to watch Game Club live as it's being recorded. But now it's time for the Wheel of Games to choose next week's title, as I'm joined by my special guests, Ash Paulson and Gilly the Kid. Are you both ready to see what game we're playing?
I'm so ready. Let's do it.
See what we're getting this time. So yeah, let's go ahead and bring up the wheel, see what we're getting this time, and give that wheel a good old spin. And in the next episode, we get to play... Oh my.
Well,
The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 64.
Oh, wow.
So,
All right, then.
right.
yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Our first Zelda game, believe it or not. Our first Zelda game.
Really,
So,
the first one. That's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Got lucky. All right.
I guess so. So there you have it. We'll see you next time as we cover Majora's Mask for the N64. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.